This podcast is part of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network. For more great podcasts, head over to bigheadsmedia.com. Hi there, folks, and welcome to TV Tuners. It's a television podcast for the true fanatics. It's a weekly dive in the latest in TV news and reviews. I'm your host, Swanson. With me, as always, is my co-host and lady who lost her mom in a zombie outbreak, Stairmaster.
Every day I feel like I am the Walking Dead.
Ooh, wow. Hey, can you explain, like, sort of all of your character backstory just to me, just real quick in a one-on-one conversation?
I saw my mom die when I was young, and it was very upsetting. Ever since then, I've been afraid of commitment with anyone around me.
Crazy stuff.
And also, I don't trust this British lady.
Well, that no one
That's
should.
Reasonable.
Yeah. If a British person shows up on your doorstep and is like, hello, don't mind me, I'm just a normal British person.
Especially if it's the apocalypse and they're trying to start diplomatic relationships with your civilization.
Yeah. Also, if they refuse to reveal their location, that should be a warning sign.
Especially if they're like 700 miles away anyways. What is even the point of keeping your location secret from people in Nebraska?
Yeah, you have to take a fucking helicopter to get there. Why do you have to keep your location a secret?
And they don't have helicopters. What are they going to do? Walk?
Yeah. Well, apparently, yeah, that's what they're going to do is walk.
Oh.
All they seem to have is a bus.
Oh, they got a Jeep as well.
Oh, that's true, yeah. Anyway, welcome to TV Tuners. Kyorain is back in hell, so Stairmaster and I are solo this week. Two rambling cowboys. Yes,
I insulted the heavens, and they turned Kyo into a pillar of salt as a result.
Yeah, so he's back down in hell. Needs to get himself a new body.
Yeah,
presumably one not made of salt.
Maybe after I record this, I'll stop by the airport and go to hell, so I can get him back.
Oh yeah, can you just get like a sort of flight down there, like a?
Oh no, I meant you just take the elevator.
Oh, the elevator. There's an elevator in the Denver airport that leads to hell.
Yeah.
From the mile high to the mile low.
How do you think they get all their satanic sacrifices done?
I mean, yeah, I guess that tracks. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to argue with it. Yeah, so welcome to TV Tuners, where we talk about nothing but television. And we talk about the latest and greatest in it, as you'll find out later in the program.
Is this even the latest? There's already 2 episodes out.
It's both the latest and the greatest, Stairmaster. I don't know why you would question that.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry,
and listen, if you like what you're hearing so far, why not consider subscribing? We're available on all of the podcatchers of your choice. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Music, or Amazon Music even, and more.
I just want to applaud you on how bold it is to ask for a subscription 3 minutes into the pod.
It's just a nice, polite reminder. You know,
okay.
If you've already got the episode downloaded, why not just hit that subscribe button? You lazy son of a bitch.
Fair.
So yeah.
It's not like half the services you just listed have a streaming option or anything.
Listen, if you like this episode, why not go back, give it a subscribe, just a little thing to keep in the thoughts of those around you.
Yeah.
And you can also leave a review if that's something that you're into. Give us 5 stars and like a little, hey, this one's good.
Whoa, hey, Elaine, you have to check out this podcast. What's a podcast? It's 1998. I don't know what you're talking about.
Elaine, it's a podcast. Why they listen to it while they're working?
Jerry, what are you doing? You're getting sucked into the internet. Oh.
Would you watch an episode of Seinfeld where it became like, what was that Adult Swim show? Guy in internet?
That guy stuck in internet.
Yeah. And it's just Newman.
Hey, finally, I can meet all the 15-year-olds in the world.
That's actually, that's pretty decent. That's a pretty decent Newman.
I was trying to do Jerry. Since he's the one who was dating the 15-year-old.
That's true, yeah. Newman
is without sin.
It's true.
Wayne Knight is a paragon of the community, and for some reason, like all the virtual tubers in Japan love him.
Yeah, he's a great guy. It's probably from Jurassic Park, right? I imagine Seinfeld is not popular in Japan.
Oh yeah, I watched them react to Jurassic Park, and whenever it cuts to Wayne Newman, they're just like, "I love this guy.
This guy's my shit."
Maybe it's just they don't have fat people in Japan.
So yes, of course, give us all that. But if you want to communicate with us in some other potential ways, why not go to Twitter, where we're available at TV Tuners on Twitter. Tons of great TV content.
Yes. Hit us up with the hashtag sign TV Tuners. Or add us directly, and we'll give it a glance.
Yeah. And do we want to get into the tweet of the week while we're talking about Twitter?
Yes. We came from, inauspicious beginnings, and we're trying to give back to the community after we kicked and clawed our way to the top. So that's why we like to promote. That's why we like to showcase a quality tweet each week, typically related to the TV show we watched.
And that is where we are, the top.
Mm-hmm.
Like, fuck Mark Maron, we're the top podcast now. Joe Rogan, you better watch your ass.
We are Mark Maron's guys.
It's true, yeah. Oh, do you think there's an episode of WTF where someone says, "Mark, who are your guys?" And he's just like, "Well, I don't know."
I think he would just have to stop the podcast if that happened. He would lose all authority.
He explodes.
He just cracks into pieces.
Okay, what's this tweet?
This tweet comes from user Baloney, spelled with an O, at Fouquet? Anyways,
Fouquet.
They write, "The Walking Dead World Beyond is so bad," and included is a photograph of a kind Jewish grandpa apparently hugging a very distraught black man. I think he might be a cook of some sort. He appears to be wearing an apron. This black man is crying, it looks like, or maybe he's very delighted. I can't see his eyes because of the lighting. It looks like he has a slightly pained grin, a rictus of remorse or agony.
I don't know.
Anyways,
the impression I'm
Jewish
getting
grandpa is holding a piece of fried chicken in his other hand.
Yeah, the impression I'm getting is that he's really excited to be with Bernie. Kind Jewish grandpa.
Oh, do you think that's Bernie Sanders? I didn't even notice.
I guess I don't know who else it would be.
Yeah, it's probably Bernie Sanders.
I guess he does look like... I don't know, it's hard to tell.
He might be laughing, actually, but the thing is, you can't see his eyes. Yeah. For some reason,
I think he's
this room is
smiling because he is in a photo with Bernie Sanders, and also Bernie Sanders is holding a chicken wing. Well, a drumstick.
Yeah, and Bernie Sanders is hugging him with one hand.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, this entire picture is better than The Walking Dead World Beyond. Spoilers.
But it would make sense if he was crying in the context of the tweet message.
So I guess that's true.
Maybe the user just also made my mistake.
Do you think this is Bologna? Or Bologna with an O? Bologna?
Yeah. Oh, and also, user at Jerry J replies, "Yep, and even if it was so-so, the wigs are the worst."
They're wigs?
The wigs, yeah.
People wearing wigs in that show? I just wasn't paying attention.
Maybe they were talking about the British lady. They like to wear wigs.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Well, they're working for the government.
Yeah. Maybe he was talking about the wig party. Because they were the worst.
Oh, the wig party from the Civic Republic.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's a tune-in on this tweet. How can I not?
That's a good tweet.
Yeah. There's a kind Jewish grandpa who may or may not be Bernie Sanders holding a chicken wing.
Well, yeah, hugging a crying black man. Presumably crying.
I think he's really happy, but I guess we're going to agree to disagree on this one.
He might be crying because the kind Jewish grandpa stole his chicken leg.
Oh, okay. Sort of going for like how the right would sort of publicize this photo.
Yeah, if he was still relevant.
Yeah. Greedy Sanders steals chicken leg. I could see that on like what was Steve Bannon's website?
Trash hole.
Yeah, that's right. It was like Clickhole, but for garbage. Anyway, yeah, that's a good tweet of the week. Quality stuff. Congratulations. And of course, if you want a more personal connection, maybe something that we can read aloud on the pod, any quips, comments, questions, foresights, or otherwise, well, you could email them to us.
Yes.
That's right. The wave of the future is here, and you can email us.
No longer do you need a pen and pencil.
That's right.
Or paper, I guess.
You do not need to use the Pony Express to get to us.
Yeah, that's good, because I'm pretty sure Trump has killed all the horses.
They're to glue his wigs in. You can email us at tvtunerspodcast@gmail.com. What's that email, Stairmaster?
At tvtuners@gmail.com.podcast.
Yeah, you can send us any of your quips or comments. You could be like Gio, who sent us in this email that says, "Oh well, whatever, never mind.
None of this matters."
Hello, Mrs. Swanson. This is Gio, Swanson's friend. May I please speak to Swanson? Thank you. Hey Swanson, you filthy bastard, and you other TVT knuckleheads. Recently, I have dealt with the stress of reality by aggressively regressing to the late 90s.
Yeah,
I already have my Walmart skateboard, Ocarina of Time gold cartridge, AOL, Balance Deficit, and 3D Doritos.
Nice. What?
But what TV am I missing? What TV series, or specific seasons for long-run shows, capture the thematic cultural essence of the late 90s for you? Skate you later, dudes. I gotta grab the new Limp Bizkit record.
I think this is a very simple one.
Yeah.
First, you gotta watch Trigun. Then you gotta watch Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
Then you gotta watch Serial Experiments Lane.
Mm.
And then you gotta watch Ghost in the Shell.
And then you gotta watch the last season of The Simpsons, season 9.
Yes.
That's interesting. I had some other shows in mind. The X-Files, even though it was around for most of the 90s, always feels like a very late 90s show to me. That's probably because this one was most popular.
Yes. That's when the iconic bit was.
Yeah, when Vince Gilligan was just like knocking out bangers every week.
Sort of like how Dragon Ball Z is remembered as an 80s show, even though Raditz showed up in like 1989.
Yeah. Yeah, another one that I think is a late 90s show, is actually a late 90s show, is Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but I don't know if we want to talk about that one as much these days. I don't know. I guess Friends is a late 90s show, but I wouldn't recommend watching it. Yeah, it's pretty desperate. Frasier kind of feels like a late 90s show, even though it was around for the early 90s.
Oh. Yeah, thematically, I can see that.
Seinfeld is kind of a late 90s show, even though it was started in the 80s.
Friends is like a late 90s show.
Friends is like the quintessential late 90s show, where it's like... Oh, you know what? You know what the perfect answer for this is? The thing that captures the late 90s to a T? South Park.
You know, you're not wrong.
That is like the late 90s show.
Yeah.
Again, though, I wouldn't recommend watching it or anything.
Yeah, the weird political vacuousness of it, despite it trying to go all in on social critique. And, you know, the grotesque aesthetic of it.
Yeah. Also, they killed Kenny.
Killing Kenny is a 90s move. Also, Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. A very 90s program. Yeah, there's some good ones in there. So there's some good suggestions for you, Gio. Enjoy. Yeah.
Nobody else watch any of those. Those were for Gio.
Those are only for Gio. If you thought about watching the X-Files, turn it off. You'll get your Mulder and Scully in due time, but not today. So yeah, thanks for that email, Gio. And with that out of the way, let's get to the rabble, huh? So
yes.
For those who might not know, this is a segment in the pod where later in the show we're going to be talking in depth about what we watched this week, which was The Walking Dead: World Beyond. Yes. But we're going to give you a little taste of what the other people think, what the other folks on the internet are thinking about this. So we've got some IMDb reviews and some critics reviews about this show, The Walking Dead: World Beyond. Mm-hmm. Stair, do you want to start us off with your IMDb reviews?
I got two. I got two this week for obvious reasons. I think they're both interesting to discuss. So I'll start with the positive review. User Penny Byerly writes, "I'm confused. 8 out of 10. Being a Walking Dead fan, this makes no sense. Where's Grace? Where's RJ? Where's Grace? 1 out of 17 found this helpful."
Are there two Graces in the Walking Dead universe?
Mate, I feel like it's just the same Grace twice for emphasis.
So they're confused that this is a spin-off with new characters?
Seems like it.
Presumably set like years after those ones have died.
Yeah, rest in peace. Isn't RJ the guy from The Sopranos? Wait, no, that's AJ.
Yeah.
What does RJ even stand for?
Reginald Vel Johnson.
Rigid. Oh, I didn't say Rigid Johnson.
Oh, ooh.
If I was if it was a post-apocalypse, I'd have a name like that.
Rigid. The name's Rigid. Like, you're a Gundam character if your name is Rigid.
Rigid Johnson is a Gundam character name.
Is it actually?
No. But I mean, there is a guy named Full Frontal.
Yeah, I remember that. There's also Quattro Vagina.
Is this sincere?
Yeah.
Is this person fucking with us? We will never know.
They still gave it a good grade, though. So they watched it and were confused, but we're like, I'm into it. What's the other one you got?
This is a negative review from LowJack84.
Ooh.
Cheap-looking teen melodrama written by lizard people.
I mean, all right.
When characters refer to planes crashing as the sky falling, you know you're in for some absolutely abysmal writing. Another absolutely terrible show written by people who seemingly have no ability to understand how human beings interact, communicate, or respond to stressful situations, choosing melodrama over drama. I mean, it's a zombie apocalypse. If you can't fathom how to create drama in that setting, what good are you? Garbage. 3 out of 10.
Wow.
231 out of 276 people found this helpful.
honestly,
Interesting you chose lizard people, because I thought that was going to take a political turn.
No, instead he just he wrote some pretty concise thoughts on the show that are I can't even make fun of.
Could have just called him dumb instead of using a dog whistle like that.
Yeah. I guess.
I mean, planes crashing is sort of like 9/11.
Yeah, I guess in that sense.
So maybe that's why he thought of lizard. Maybe that's why he thought of lizard people.
Yeah, other than the headline, I can't really pick out anything that he said there that I don't agree with. After watching the show.
I don't know about the sky falling part. That's a weird way to, segue into how bad and unrealistic the writing is.
It's true.
Of course you're going to Of course you're going to call the apocalypse something mythical sounding like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's true. You're not just going to call it the apocalypse. I don't know. Yeah. I feel like the closest actual depiction of a real world apocalypse is just Mad Max.
Yeah.
Where they don't even fucking talk about the apocalypse.
Well, because they're still living in it.
Yeah, well, yeah, they don't mention it like, oh, this is the apocalypse. They're just like, this is the fucking world. Like, you never have a moment where, like, Max or someone is talking to him, and they're like, the apocalypse happened, and then my son died, and now I'm here, searching for gasoline.
I think Road Warrior is the closest we get to that.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I guess the first Mad Max does take place in a bastion of society.
Oh, yeah.
But it might also be after whatever the oil war was, whatever the great disaster was.
It's still kind of it's still real apocalyptic.
It's like fits in our story where it's unclear how long it's been since the apocalypse.
But yeah, I don't know if lizard people I don't think are right at this show, because I would have to assume that if lizard people existed, they don't.
Also, they would be eating more flies.
Yeah, they'd probably be writing better stuff to capture the masses.
Yes.
If anything, I feel like Q is writing this show.
Well, there are secret messages being in a deep state that nobody can really get them. And they do have to save the kids. Oh, yeah. God.
Something to think about. That IMDb review does bring up something very good, though. It's the apocalypse. This is the most drama you can wring out of it.
Well, we'll get into it, but it doesn't really feel like an apocalypse has happened on the show.
That's the problem with setting it 10 years after an apocalypse, is that's usually around the time when the apocalypse is, like, settled in.
Well, I think
society has begun to reform in some way.
Yes, but I think it would look very different, whatever society they're making, compared to ours.
That's true, because they're just fucking... It's just, like, the exact same with some zombies in there.
Yeah!
So, yeah, some great stuff from IMDb, including a rare review where I have little to actually critique on it.
Good job!
Let's get to what the critics said. Now, the overall critical consensus on Rotten Tomatoes is a 35, which is pretty woeful.
What?
Presumably 100.
Oh.
It's 35%.
And I assume 100 is the number you're striving for.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it would seem audience scores, which are typically higher, are actually 1% lower. 34% of audiences. That's the approval rating.
The American people are no longer confident in our establishment. That's
true. Yeah, they can't trust the basic foundations of society like The Walking Dead. With all that said, I do have a negative review here.
Ooh.
This is from Darren Franick of Entertainment Weekly.
Mm-hmm.
And he writes, "Really? Was anyone asking for this? Teenagers already have their own Walking Dead show. It's called The Walking Dead."
There weren't very many teens on the episode we watched many moons ago.
No,
the one with Negan.
That's true. If you think about it, Negan is sort of like a teen.
He's like the anti-teen, I would say.
Oh? Expand on that.
I feel like, can you imagine a bunch of teens hanging out with Negan? No, I can't.
I don't think Negan would put up with it.
It's like magnetic poles.
Yeah, that's true.
They repel each other. Or I can't say what it's... Never mind, that's not how poles work.
Yeah, I don't know. I still feel like no one was asking for this, right?
No.
Do we really need a YA version of The Walking Dead?
Do we need a YA anything?
No, I feel like if you're a young adult, you can just read like adult stuff.
Yes. Like back in the day, you would just watch Star Wars and people would be blasted.
Yeah.
Pieces. Like the dude's aunt was on fire and his uncle was a skeleton.
You would watch Star Wars and Han would shoot first. I have a positive review here. This one is from Alexander Zalbin at The Cider. "What makes it work is that it's still a coming-of-age story with engaging characters, and it's still full of gross, innovative zombies from effects guru Greg Nicotero and his team."
Okay, maybe true. But what are these innovative characters he's talking about?
Engaging characters, and I don't know.
Does he not list any examples?
Maybe the British lady? Since she's the one who feels the most like an act, like someone who's like
She hates her job. That's her character, though.
I guess. Or she's like... That's the problem with the twist at the end of the episode, is what you think is her character isn't.
Yeah. It's like if Ratchet ended with her deciding she's gonna be nice to people. I need to be better to my fellow humans.
Yeah. I don't know. There's no engaging characters in this show. Unless, I guess, if you're really engaged with people who are just sort of going to give long monologues about their character motivations. Yeah, we'll get to the rest of our thoughts later, but I think you can get sort of a glance at our general opinions on this show.
Oh, they're gonna turn it off after Trailblazers, I think.
No. Hey, listen, stick around, see what we think about this show. There's a lot of wild stuff that happens in this first episode. So yeah, you look forward to that, and with that out of the way, Stairmaster, did you watch anything interesting this week?
Yes, actually.
Oh, okay,
I watched
good.
Mobile Suit Gundam, Formula 91 from 1991.
Is it like a race car Gundam?
No. It is very fast, but I think all Gundams are very fast.
Probably to be in space.
This movie has a very interesting history behind it. Originally, they were going to make a 50-episode series at the end of the 80s. But then the Japanese economy crashed and stayed crashed for the next 20 years. So yeah, Sunrise was kind of short on cash, so they couldn't make a TV series. So they just decided to make this 50-episode series into a 2-hour film. And they didn't excise any of their ideas.
Uh-oh. So not only is the Gundam itself fast, the movie is fast.
But the crazy part is they still spend like 30 minutes on the civilians running around trying to survive a war breaking out part. You know, typical Gundam opening stuff.
Yeah.
But then But then we get like maybe one scene where the bad guy explains himself. And he has an iron mask and he's mad about it. But there's also like... The Gundam pilot has like a group of teen friends and there's like 7 of them. Which is like, no way. For a 2-hour movie, yes. I couldn't even name most of them.
2 or 3.
Except for the black guy who dies right at the start. When when they all team up with the museum owner to try to fight the invaders with antiquated mobile suits from the first series.
I want to ask why there's a museum owner, but I do want to just have I do also feel obliged to just leave that hanging there.
What?
Unanswered.
It's a museum. You can see like Zaku's in the background. It's cool.
So what you're telling me is that at the end of original Gundam, they said these belong in a museum.
I mean, like World War II, like how we just have Shermans and whatnot in museums, yes.
Okay, yeah.
Interesting is you bring up Harrison Ford, because this feels a lot like the Gundam's version of The Force Awakens. It's like a soft reboot, set 30 years after the original Gundams, specifically Char's Counterattack. But not only that is it replaying Gundam beats, it's also plagiarizing Star Wars. The enemy suits have Darth Vader masks. The soundtrack literally plagiarizes John Williams in parts. Like, I'm pretty sure you can... They got the Imperial March. They got the Asteroid Belt Chase song at one point during a battle. And now you might think this is very bad. And you might be right. But the animation is like 10 out of 10. This is like some of the best looking robot fighting stuff you'd see.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So that's a tune-in?
Yes. Even though I can't really describe what the main character's personality traits are. Besides being named Seabrook.
I feel like
blue hair.
I feel like that would be what you'd come to expect from a movie that has this frantic of a pace in 2 hours.
Oh, and like The Force Awakens, everyone's forgotten what new types are. Sort of like how nobody knows what Jedi are in episode... Yeah.
Even though it's been like 40 years.
Yeah. And arguably new types are more important than Jedi were to the common people. Winning all these pivotal battles in the fight against space fascism.
Yeah, I guess that would be like if everyone just forgot like who the Marines were.
Yeah. Like if a Jedi saved the galaxy from just being wiped out by a giant space rock.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
Well, I mean, a Jedi did sort of destroy the Emperor of the universe. Of the galaxy,
but he wasn't going to kill everyone. Maybe he might have done some sort of dark ritual to depopulate a few planets and make himself immortal, but, there would still be life afterwards.
And also, I guess, spoilers, he didn't actually kill him.
Yeah. So did you watch anything this week?
I don't really have a lot to talk about here. I guess I can mention that I watched some of Agatha Christie's Poirot, The Later Years. It's not called The Later Years. It's just the show. I watched the 12th series of the show, which was like the penultimate series. It's interesting because the show started back in the 80s, and this is in like 2009 where this 12th series comes from, and they still have Agatha Christie stuff to like adapt.
And how many episode titles have the N-word in them?
0, surprisingly.
Good.
The guy, it's still the same guy playing Poirot, and there's like a weird sort of timelessness to it. Yeah, from the 80s show to this penultimate series and the ultimate one.
So I have no idea who Poirot is, but
Hercule Poirot, he is like the guy from Murder on the Orient Express. He's a detective.
Oh. Very
famous detective, sort of like the Sherlock Holmes of the 20th century.
Holmes. Yes.
Yeah, he's essentially Agatha Christie's like biggest creation.
Mm-hmm.
So this detective who is probably a better version of Sherlock Holmes because he doesn't have to use self-medication to.
Oh, self-medication! I wonder what that could refer to.
Yeah, he doesn't have to use opium to like solve cases. This series actually has Murder on the Orient Express itself.
Whoa!
Adapted, so that's interesting.
So wait, they waited until 2009 to do it?
I don't know if they did it before because I only watched a couple of the early 80s versions of this show before checking out these more recent ones. Mm-hmm. It's got a weird vibe to it. Sort of like it still feels like an 80s or early 90s detective show, but it's definitely got the production values of early 2010s BBC. I would actually say that Murder on the Orient Express episode is probably the best of the 4 that make up this series.
Well, of course, that's Train in it.
Oh, yeah. It's good all around the show. There's an interesting thing with the show where they're adapting material that Agatha Christie was writing during the Cold War, but they're not
How
updating
long did she live?
She lived until this was near her death. I think she died in the 60s.
Oh my god, I thought she died in the 30s or something.
No.
Wow.
So yeah, she it's
like
Poirot,
a Frasier of people.
Poirot ages with the time. So in these 50s things, he is battling Russians and trying to solve. Sorry, she died in 1976 at the age of 85.
Wow.
Yeah, so Poirot is trying to battle Russians and stuff, but the show doesn't change that kind of stuff. So it's still in the onset of World War II.
Oh, well,
which makes it sort of more interesting.
Yes, the British were not very good friends with the Soviet Union during that time period. At one point, they did consider bombing the Russian oil fields, in 1939.
There's an episode called The Clocks, which has a bunch of red herrings and suspects involved with this murder that occurs, and there's a subplot involving these German sympathizers in Britain who are trying to make sure the war doesn't come to Britain.
Mm-hmm.
So they're working with German spies.
Yeah,
but they're not the people who murdered anybody, so they don't actually face any punishment from Poirot himself.
So I guess this was written at least pre-1938. The story.
No, the story they're Soviets, I think. But they changed it up.
The TV show? Yeah,
because the TV show doesn't move forward in time. So yeah, the TV show is still in the era pre-World War II, but in the books they're Cold War era stuff.
I'm glad those people don't run everything in the West now.
Yeah, that would really stink. So yeah, that's all that. So let's get to the news, huh?
Oh, okay, if you want.
So if you've been enjoying 2020 at all, I don't know why you would, but one of the more enjoyable features might be the Trump presidency. I don't know where I was going with this.
It's entertaining, that's for sure.
Especially now that he's on like roid, like he's in like a roid rage.
He's on all sorts of nootropics.
Yeah. Well, The Simpsons seems to think this is sort of a horror of its own,
and An American Horror Story.
Yeah, maybe. And have decided to dedicate part of their 2020 Treehouse of Horror to the Trump presidency.
What? Hold on, the Trump presidency. That's very broad.
Yeah.
For a Treehouse of Horror segment.
Well, you may remember, Stairmaster, it's established Simpson canon that Homer talks through his thought process while he's voting.
Uh-huh.
And makes absolutely no decisions until he's there with his ballot.
He doesn't talk to his brain or anything?
Yeah. So the show is going to keep that decision alive in this Treehouse of Horror episode where he goes to the voting booth and is stumped of who to vote for in the election. That's right. The role of Ken Bone will be played by Homer Simpson. Undecided voter Homer Simpson.
I mean, if there was a real undecided voter, it would be Homer Simpson.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. As opposed to like the ones who are just saying they're undecided. As it turns out, he can't remember anything from the past 4 years.
Makes sense.
But Lisa is there to remind him of all of the things Donald Trump has done since 2016. I don't know why Lisa's in the booth with him. That seems like something the Proud Boys would be doing. So she, there's a long list apparently that Lisa rolls out, and thankfully I have the list for you if you want me to go through it.
Let's see. I'll tell you when I'm bored.
So this is the big list that she mentions to sort of get Homer to vote against Donald Trump, even though they don't show. Apparently, they allegedly don't show who he votes for.
Howie Hawkins.
Made it okay to shoot hibernating bears. Put children in cages.
True.
Called Mexicans rapists.
Mm-hmm.
Imitated disabled reporter. Looks lousy in a tennis outfit. Can't get wife to hold hand.
Mm.
Called third world countries shitholes. That's bleeped out, obviously.
True.
Called Tim Cook Tim Apple. That's a good one. I forgot about that. Said Jewish people who vote Democrat are disloyal. Showed top secret documents at Mar-a-Lago restaurant.
I just want to say I'm glad that Biden hasn't said anything similar about ethnics voting for him or voting against him.
Called white supremacists fine people. Leaked classified information to the Russian ambassador.
I just want to remind you that Joe Biden did eulogize Strom Thurmond.
Asked the president of Ukraine to investigate the Bidens. Called for China to investigate the Bidens. Walked into the dressing room at Miss Teen USA pageant.
Mm-hmm.
Pressed the Australian Prime Minister to help Barr investigate Mueller. I feel like this long list is going to be like, eyes would be glazing over.
Yeah, nobody cares about Mueller. It's 2020, baby.
Talked about grabbing, and it bleeps itself out. Lied about the size of his inauguration. Mm-hmm. Refused to release tax returns.
I can't believe people still care about that.
Gutted the EPA. Confiscated and destroyed interpreters' notes after meeting with Putin. Tweeted classified photo of Iran missile site.
That was a great disservice to the Republic of Iran.
Called Baltimore a disgusting rat and rodent-infested mess. Described Meryl Streep as overrated.
This is no longer about The Simpsons. This is just us reading out from a list.
Okay, so let me scroll down the list here.
No, these are all great.
Served McDonald's to Clemson football team. That's a good one.
Why are we persecuting him for that? That one's awesome. Fuck those guys.
pulled the U.S. out of climate agreement, allowed bounties on soldiers, invaded Poland, withdrew from WHO, bragged about knowing the date.
Wait, did he invaded Poland?
I think they added that one as a joke. Lost Hong Kong, commuted sentences.
I don't think Hong Kong belonged to America.
Person, woman, man, camera, TV, destroyed post office, paid $750 in taxes, once third term, wanted to be on Mount Rushmore, and we haven't even said the worst one.
Ooh, what is that? Wait, is this on the list?
They didn't say it. That's on the list. She says I haven't even seen the worst one. Anyway, yeah, The Simpsons is pretty much like SNL when it comes to parody these days, right?
So wait, what's the actual... Wait, there's a treehouse of her. Is it just one gag?
I guess.
So Trump isn't in the rest of the episode? He's not going to turn out he's a monster or something? Like a crazy Get Out?
No.
Type swerve?
They should just go full Family Guy and have Homer Simpson fight Donald Trump.
Well, that wouldn't be as fun as when he fought Bush.
That's true, yeah. There's like...
Wait, did they even mention Epstein in this list?
No. No, of course not. Why would they? Matt Groening was on the logs.
Oh, yeah! Wasn't he? He probably shot it down. Probably a guy from corporate who told him not to do that.
We will not be doing that. I don't know what Matt Groening sounds like. I just assume he sounds like George Lucas. You think he sounds like Milhouse?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you show me an interview of Matt Groening and he said that Milhouse was the character he most relates to from The Simpsons.
I think he did say that, though.
And listen, it's not just the Simpsons that's an American institution that's having some rough times as of late. And by as of late, I mean the last 20 years.
And by institutions, we mean the whole damn nation.
Yeah. America's Funniest Home Videos has recently been spoken out against due to his allegedly predatory work environment.
Oh, God.
That's right. Not even still on the air, America's Funniest Home Videos is safe. A safe place to be. Not only is it still on the air, apparently it's being hosted by the guy who played Carlton.
Yes. Hold on. How do you get predatory? It's just people picking out clips and then having Alfonso Ribeiro.
I'm pretty sure they write the stuff for him riffing.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, there's definitely writers on this show. And even if there weren't, like, Alfonso Ribeiro definitely has, like, an assistant. There's probably assistants to all of, like, the people directing.
Okay, so who's predating on who?
So apparently, a former producer for the Finn DiBona Productions has maintained that which is the people who run America's Funniest Home Videos, AFHV, is that what they call AFV for short?
Yes.
Has alleged that there is both a predatory and hostile environment. Columbia Crandall, Tanisha Singleton, and Jessica Morse are the three women who have shared their experiences. So the superior, Philip Shafran, sure, is one of the main sort of suspects here. According to Crandall, Shafran asked her to test a VR gaming headset in the privacy of his closed office.
Oh, God.
And apparently she was looking down, and then his shoes were right behind her feet, and he was just hanging out, touching her.
Oh.
VR headsets really...
Why the VR headset? Why?
Yeah.
She knows it's him. What's the point? What is the VR headset hiding?
Apparently he was trying to take a picture up of her skirt, so that's fun. Don't worry, this guy also decided to call one of the other women a crack whore and told her to stop doing blow in the bathroom where she would never produce anything in front of her boss in a room of colleagues.
You can't criticize people for doing crack cocaine in the entertainment industry.
Her her boss simply laughed at the remark. And a week later, Singleton was fired from the company.
So what is this guy's job, this asshole? What is he in charge
He's
of?
I think he's a producer.
Oh.
Or like the head of the production agency. Not sure. Meanwhile, Morse was confided in with the other two, and she expressed that the company did not feel. She expressed to others higher up that the company did not feel comfortable around her. But boss, I almost said Lewis Black. That's not who the boss is. Lisa Black and COO Paul LaPointe confronted Morse during a work event, claiming the company had already investigated the matter and verified Shafrane's innocence. Which I have to assume was just, hey, did you do that stuff? No. Okay.
I guess we'll go call her a liar then, to her face.
Yeah. So they filed a civil lawsuit against
So
them.
this was at a work event, so I assume this was in front of other people as well.
I would have to assume, right? Well, wow. I don't know. This one might not have been in front of other people because they didn't want to look guilty in any sort of way. So, of course, there's a BS sort of report, statement from the attorney that says, the physical, emotional, and psychological safety of our employees is always our highest priority. When accusations are made, we, like any responsible organization, have an obligation to act swiftly, thoughtfully, and respectfully to support the well-being and rights of all parties involved.
So that makes me ask, if he's a producer, is becoming a producer on AFV like good for your career, or is it like a sign that you're in the
I think by the time you become a producer on something like AFV, you've like given up on your hopes and dreams.
Oh.
And you're just sort of, it's like, I feel like AFV is sort of like working the mailroom at the post office.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, like you're just sort of trudging along.
So this guy's also a loser, is what you're saying, in addition to being a rapist.
Yeah, so it's a double whammy.
And, yes.
Yeah, so anyway, hopefully hopefully they take this mother down. And by that, I mean, of course, the entire AFV. No one...
Yes.
How many... Go watch YouTube if you need to see someone get hit in the nuts. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
How is this show still on the air?
We need to lock up Alfonso Ribeiro.
Yeah. And whoever the guy was... Anyone who was after Bob Saget on America's Funniest Home Videos needs locked up.
Oh, Tom Bergeron.
Yeah, and I think they were like probably hosts before him.
Oh, there was that guy and that lady.
Oh yeah, those two need locked up.
Those two need to be put to death.
Yeah, they had real Team Rocket energy.
So gay?
Yeah.
Interesting, Swanson. Much to think about.
Is anyone gonna be done with the show? Like, is anyone going to be sad that the show's gone from their life?
I don't know who's watching it. That's such an alien. I can't form a mental model of the person who does it.
Yeah, like, at least I can paint a picture of someone who's watching, like, I don't know, CBS procedurals.
It must be the CBS audience that's watching it at this point, the doddering old men.
Like, they sat on the remote and it switched over to ABC.
They're just, like, trying to keep with patterns to make them feel comfortable because their brains are rotting.
Yeah.
And AFV is just something they used to watch back in the day.
Speaking of programs that used to watch back in the day, Dexter is coming back.
Oh, Jindo Tartakovsky. Getting big time.
No, not that Dexter. I'm talking, of course, about the serial killer who murders serial killers.
Oh.
Dexter Morgan. Of the show Dexter.
He's back, and he's hunting down Pete
Lumberjacks. Oh. If the whole season revolved around Dexter tracking down Pete Buttigieg...
Oh, that would be a dangerous game of cat and mouse.
Like, could you imagine Dexter gets a call on the phone and it's Pete Buttigieg?
Did he kill Dot or whatever her name was?
Yeah. And he's like... Well, that's the thing with the end. Spoilers for the end of Dexter. Most of the characters who he cared about are dead.
Yeah, and spoilers for the audience. I've never seen a single episode of Dexter. All my knowledge comes from osmosis.
Yeah. Listen, if you watch seasons 1 through 4 and then act like 4 was just the end of the show, it's a good show. It's quality stuff.
How many seasons were there?
8. Yeah, it's got that, what we call the Showtime problem of lasting too many seasons. Also look up Homeland if you need another example of...
Is that still going?
No, it ended. Its final season was last year.
She finally destroyed the Muslims. I assume that's how that show ends.
That show, that's the funniest thing about that show is that Mandy Patinkin was on it for a little bit, and he was like, I just had to leave because it fucking was awful. He was like, I can't be on it anymore. So, I mean, yeah, as for Dexter Morgan, the last time we saw him, of course, was he was lumberjacking, having successfully committed all of the murders that he needed to down in Florida.
He doesn't want to commit anymore.
Yeah, he moved to a solemn, remorseful life of lumberjacking. But yeah, apparently Showtime is ready to bring Dexter and his dark passenger back once again. As it tweeted out, surprise, motherfucker, he's back. Get it? Because that was that meme.
What season was that from?
The first.
Oh, I assumed it was like from 5 onwards.
No, that guy dies, I think, by the end of season 1 or 2.
Oh, rest in peace.
The funniest thing, though, is that there's a flashback episode in, like, one of those later, shittier seasons where he comes back and he just, when he shows up on screen, he says, surprise, motherfucker.
They know what the audience wants.
Yeah. It was definitely, like, a thing where they were like, that and hold for applause. So yeah, Dexter's going to be coming back for one of those extremely popular limited series revivals. Like the X-Files or Will and Grace or any other thing that no one really liked. And now it's not all doom and gloom the moment you heard this news because, yes, Michael C. Hall, the actor behind Dexter Morgan, is back to play the sort of heroic fan of murder. But also showrunner Clyde Phillips, a.k.a. the guy behind the first 4 seasons of the show, is also back. So I guess there's potential? I feel like there's 4 seasons of, like, complete baggage you gotta work with, though, so...
Do you think they'll pay attention to those seasons?
Well, you kind of have to, because some people died. Who are, like, important.
You'd think, but 24... got around that.
That's true. I feel like, yeah, I think you're right on the money though. This is probably going to feel like the 24 revival.
I hope Dexter throws a lady out a window.
Only if that lady is a serial killer. I'll be interested. I'll be mildly interested to see where this goes, but it probably won't be anywhere good. So that's another reboot down in Hollywood's list.
Next up, Frasier.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
That's sort of telling, though, because that means that we're now getting into rebooting things from early 2000s.
Well, there already was a 24 soft reboot where they just had some white guy.
Didn't they do one that was like the time they did a Jason Bourne movie without Jason Bourne?
Yes, that was what I was talking about.
24 Legacy.
No, I think 24 Legacy was like the made-for-TV movie, though, with Jack Bauer in it.
I seem to recall there was a 24 with a black lead.
Oh, I think that might be it.
Yeah. It was.
There's also 24 Die Another Day or whatever the fuck it was called, which had the guy from Star Wars.
Mark Hamill?
No, the black guy.
Oh.
I can't remember
John
his name.
Boyega?
Yeah, John Boyega.
Oh, that's interesting.
He was in it for like 3 episodes, and his character is wrongfully accused drone pilot.
Ooh. Uh-oh. So,
that's
yeah,
yes.
This sounds like we should do a 24 podcast, is what it sounds like to me.
Maybe. It's not like there's anything else on that's good.
Yeah, stay tuned. Yeah, so I'm going to preemptively tune out on that Dexter stuff. Unless I start hearing, like, rave reviews, I'm not tuning in on that.
Wow, this season of Dexter
4 times.
How did that happen to you? Why were you even watching the 8th season?
Because I had heard it was bad, and after you get 7 seasons in, you might as well just commit, right?
Okay, also, why did you watch 7 seasons up to that point?
I should have stopped at, like, 4. I should have stopped in the middle of, like, 5 or something. Like, that's enough.
Yeah.
Also, Dexter does canonically fuck. He has a kid.
Do you think the kid's a serial killer?
Probably became one.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
So yeah, they that's good. That's all good stuff on Dexter. Good on you, Showtime. What's a limited series revival for Showtime mean? 5 seasons?
Yes.
We're bringing this back for a minimum of 3 seasons.
3 seasons and a movie.
Oh yeah, that's what Community should have aimed for, not Yahoo. They should have aimed for Showtime. It would still be on the air right now. Chevy Chase would just be a zombie running around the stage.
Also, we get to see him naked.
Yeah.
It's Showtime.
Yeah, maybe it's better if we didn't get that. So yeah, that's it for the news. So let's go ahead and take a quick break for some ads, and then we'll come back. I've been tracking Stairmaster all throughout Denver, and I finally found him here at the Buffalo Bill Museum and Grave.
Ah! Swanson! How did you track me down?
I saw your car out front.
Ah!
It has the bumper sticker, "I'm here at the Buffalo Bill Museum and Grave."
Ah! Why did I buy that? This gift shop is a racket.
Well, you know what else? You know what isn't a racket? Winning season.
The stock market?
Well, the stock market is kind of a racket.
Oh.
But winning season isn't, and it's returning at my bookie. But you know all about that, don't you, Stare? After all, you stole all that money from us.
Yeah, I did. I was planning on placing it against the spread on 5 NFL games.
You wanted a chance at 100,000 guaranteed in cash prizes.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to see why they made a museum for the guy from Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, you didn't realize that they were talking about Buffalo Bill, the actual person.
What actual person?
He was like a cowboy.
Oh, that explains a lot.
Yeah, he didn't just come up with the name Buffalo Bill. So wait, hold on. I'm
I
confused.
I thought his parents came up with the name Buffalo Bill.
So you think his full name was Buffalo Bill?
Yeah.
Oh. Well,
wait,
what about the football team that's named the Buffalo Bills? You thought they named themselves that after Silence of the Lambs?
How old is football?
Older than the movie, for sure.
Ooh. So, like the 80s?
Yeah, probably about as old as the book.
So the 70s?
Yeah. And listen, speaking of NFL teams, of course, if you want to celebrate the NFL season, you can at MyBookie. But
in the MyBookie Survivor Contest, you get a guaranteed chance at 100,000 in winnings. All you have to do is bet 5 games against the spread.
Yeah, and you know all about that. After all, you tried to place your first deposit and get a dollar-for-dollar match, all the way up to $1,000. Yeah. I bet you even grabbed yourself a free entry into the famed MyBookie Super Contest, but not anymore.
No, I sold that at the gift shop for the bumper sticker.
Oh, well, that's quite sad.
Yeah.
Well, the best part is MyBookie has thousands of bets to choose from, Stare.
Oh.
There's the full NFL slate, the NBA playoffs, live betting, championship futures. Every play you want to make is waiting.
Maybe I can win enough money to buy Buffalo Bill's gun and kill myself.
Oh. That's like your big dream.
MyBookie, you can make your dreams come true.
That's right. Use promo code TVTuners and you can double your first deposit. It's a no-brainer.
It's time to start the show.
Whoa, Stairmaster, where are you going? He got on a Zamboni.
Zamboni noises. Oh no! A cow stampede! Ah!
Ooh.
What a tragic cowboy death! Ah!
Well, looks like my winning season begins today at my bookie. Good ad. So yeah, we're back here at TV Tuners for a segment that is near and dear to everybody's hearts. Of course, I'm talking Trailer Blazers. Hit the theme, Stare.
Turner Gundam.
Turner Gundam. So, yes, we watched a trailer for a Netflix original Christmas movie. We did this last year too, if you remember the movie about the knight who travels forward in time.
Yes.
This is sort of a worse Christmas movie, I think.
This is sort of a worse version of that.
Yeah. This is called Operation Christmas Drop, and it goes from 0 to 100 real quick.
So the premise of this movie is this like congressional AOC type is trying to get the U.S. military to drop cargoes of Christmas gifts on third world countries. Once thought it was the island of Hawaii.
I think that the main character, the one half of the love interests in this sort of romantic comedy,
the love angle,
is tasked with finding out like improper uses of government spending, which this is most assuredly is. And that's why she's going to figure out what Operation Christmas Drop is.
So, Operation Christmas Drop is a real thing.
Oh, okay. Is it this exact thing?
They started in 1952.
Oh, okay.
It's typically like islands in the South Pacific and Central Pacific, it seems like. They're not going to Africa or anything.
Where they can't get Christmas.
Yes,
without the help of the military.
It's illegal in Africa to celebrate Christmas.
Oh, I meant the Pacific Islands.
Oh.
They don't have access to Christmas because of the ocean.
Yeah. Sometimes the Japanese Air Force and the Australian Air Force participate sometimes as well, apparently.
Oh, interesting. And they just drop off like Christmas presents? Like a big crate.
Each box from a C-130 aircraft weighs nearly 400 pounds and contains items such as fishing nets, construction materials, powdered milk, canned goods, rice, coolers, clothing, shoes, toys, and school supplies. Now, I want to point out they are dropping these out of planes on islands that do have airports. They could just land the planes at.
Yeah, that sounds unnecessary. Well, it started in 1952. I think at that point they might not have had airports, and Eisenhower was just like, throw it out of the hatch.
Well, the point of it is it's a training mission. The humanitarian thing is just a nice side effect, it seems like.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Operation Christmas Drop also does sound like an Eisenhower era name.
It also sounds very sinister.
Yeah. What are they dropping?
But this is like the one military operation that's just literally named.
Yeah. If anything, I feel like today era Republicans are probably happy that Christmas is in the name.
We need to do a Christmas drop to every country.
We're doing Christmas drops. Everybody's getting Christmas.
So yeah, the Congress is trying to axe it or something.
Yeah, I guess they think this is like an egregious use of government resources, which I guess it kind of is.
They're paying people to do training missions anyways.
Yeah, and also at the least this is helping people who are like in American soil.
Micronesia is independent, I think.
Oh, okay. I thought this was Hawaii.
No,
guess it's just the Pacific in general.
Yes, this is specifically Micronesia.
Oh, okay. So they're doing this to help the
whatever countries are there. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess this is a much better thing than like, I don't know, just dropping like some drone strikes on them. Yeah.
No, that's what the Middle East is for, Swanson.
Well, yeah, that's they have their own sort of drop that goes on there.
It's Christmas every day. There.
Make it Operation Bomb Drop. Yeah, so this, as you might expect, this becomes a sort of, will they? Yes, of course they will. It's a Christmas movie. Sort of romantic comedy where, there's no actual jokes and there's sort of, it's really weird how they have this bit where he's like, hey, let me show you how I white savior these people.
Let's enjoy all of Hawaii's 5 beaches.
But there is this bit where he's like with all these islanders and he's just like, oh yeah, I bet you're real happy to be with me, a white man.
Yeah.
And, as you might assume, based off of what we're talking about so far, yeah, the Department of Justice had a hand in making sure this was written the right
Swanson. Way. You just said justice, you idiot.
No, Barr himself was involved.
Oh. Really? I can't tell what's irony and what's not anymore.
He got involved in this. This was actually the project that Ice Cube was talking about working with the Trump administration on.
Oh, that's still kind of cancelable, I think.
Yeah, if anything, it's more cancelable. No, yes, the Department of Defense had a hand in this, obviously.
So, are these actors from anything?
No.
Yeah, it seems like a hard sell for people.
No, of course not. I mean, it's like...
Like, this is just like literally for impulse watches. People are
this is for someone who thinks that, like, there's somehow a Hallmark movie ended up on Netflix.
Or maybe, like, a drunk guy thinks this is going to be badass. Like, it's going to be about an army guy killing people.
Oh, yeah. Operation Christmas Drop. And it's like Santa Claus is, like, getting dropped in the Middle East.
Or a different drunk guy who just wants to watch Operation Dumbo Drop because he's really nostalgic.
Yeah, that could work. Anyway, this is a tune-out. This is not going to be good at all, right?
No, just watch Operation Dumbo Drop instead.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for Trailer Blazers. So let's waste no more time and get into our main event this evening.
Oh, we're not supposed to waste time here?
I guess you could say that TV Tuners is sort of a good time waster.
Okay,
yeah,
good,
this week,
because I was going to say we should start over if we don't want to waste time.
Yeah, make things a bit more concise. Let's waste no more time and talk about this show that we watched this week, The Walking Dead: World Beyond. Set in Nebraska 10 years after the zombie apocalypse, World Beyond features 4 teenage protagonists and focuses on the first generation to come of age in the apocalypse as we know it. Some will become heroes, some will become villains. In the end, all of them will be changed forever.
Men shall become demons.
Truly, men shall become demons. Who's going to become a villain of the Central
people
4?
People die.
Oh, yeah, because it becomes zombies.
I guess Sheldon's going to die.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to die at the end of this episode. It's a cheap shock scare.
Yeah, that's true. But it should be called The Walking Dead: Innocence Lost.
The World Beyond, that's a bad title because I feel like that would be a cool spin-off for Walking Dead vignettes set in other parts of the world.
But they never do that ever because it'd be expensive.
No. Yeah. So instead we're just more white suburbia.
Yeah.
Doesn't even look like 10 years has passed.
No. That's the strangest thing about this show is that, one, it doesn't look like 10 years have passed, and when it does, when they show society itself, it just looks like society now.
Yes, they've got electricity, they got potable water, they still got stereos apparently.
Yeah,
someone's listening to music in one scene.
They have food is good, food is in ready supply.
They don't seem to have, as a society, culturally, they don't seem to have changed that much from our world. No. You think they would be a bit more religious or something? Like they'd have something akin to a religion?
Also, the teacher, and the one shot we get, scene we get with a teacher, he's talking about the Lincoln Look, who the fuck cares about the Lincoln Memorial now? No one's going there.
Slavery is probably back at this point, considering how people would relate to production in this.
Oh, that's probably what the Civic Republic is doing.
And you know what? They probably wouldn't be wrong to do slavery. The entire material context of their existence is probably something akin more to 20 BC than 2020 AD.
You heard it here first. Slavery? Not wrong, says Stairmaster. Yeah, so I don't even know where to start on this show because it is... I'll just be upfront. It's awful.
Oh, well, we're talking about the world building. How do they eat? We don't see a farm or anything.
Yeah, I'm guessing that since we already had uncovered that in The Walking Dead, they didn't want to waste extra time and just said, yeah, there's a farm. Mm-hmm. So we get this opening shot here where it's like the people are preparing for this like school trip. And it's just a real bad way to open your zombie apocalypse show. It's interesting because of course regular Walking Dead takes place during the zombie apocalypse. And Fear the Walking Dead's original pitch was that it was going to take place right as the zombie apocalypse happened.
Like the Dawn of the Dead 2004 opening.
Yeah, the problem, of course, being that Fear the Walking Dead got rid of that premise 4 episodes in and just it became Walking Dead 2. More Walking Dead, this time on West Coast.
Like, I don't know what they were thinking, not just making that a mini-series.
And Fear the Walking Dead was also briefly in Mexico, so I guess they did sort of explore a world that was not North America, or not United States, so... Anyway, this one is set in Nebraska, which is pretty much just the Midwest Georgia.
Yes.
And I don't know what to say. There's nothing interesting about this. The premise that we see of this community is blown up by the end of the episode anyway.
Oh yeah, everyone dies except for like 6 named characters from this episode.
Which, like... We'll get to that, I think, because that ending is so stupid. But there's some other...
Yes, where are they going to go back to? They don't have anywhere to go now.
Yeah. I guess it truly is the world beyond.
I mean, that isn't a problem, but that's not the show we were expecting.
Yeah. They give the people what they want up front, though, because we get zombies right from the get-go.
Yeah, we get ground zombies, we get walking zombies.
Yeah. There's a real cheap frill where that stereotypical rebellious teenager character is stowing away in the bus, under the bus, and one zombie just like hooks on. And it was like it was such an obvious like cheap scare.
Like no one's gonna expect her to die like 5 minutes into the program.
That would, if they had done that, I would have been like, all right, I'm watching. Imagine.
Okay, that would actually be very interesting.
That would have been like a very interesting opener. Because we don't know who this character is. We don't have any reason to care.
All we know is she's got a rebellious streak.
Yeah. So they're all there to welcome this lady who comes from the Civic Republic, which is a secret organization, like a secret institution that like exists somewhere in Nebraska, apparently.
No, in New York. Well, it's revealed, but I think they know they're far away at the onset of this episode.
Yeah, they do, because they have to have a helicopter come and take these people in there. And also because the third colony that they mention is Portland, so there's no way.
How are you flying helicopters 10 years after the apocalypse anyways?
Where are you getting the fuel for that?
Like mechanic, the spare parts.
Yeah. They just found the helicopter that was still in working condition.
Yeah.
Or they have a helicopter mechanic? Like what? They have someone who read a manual on it?
It would probably be more practical just to build an airplane from scratch.
Yeah.
Or
you know what would be most practical? Not to deal with people who live 1,000 miles away from you.
Okay, but here's what I hate. The name Civic Republic. What the fuck does that mean? What kind of fucking name for a country is that?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Well, like also, the name of the main place is called Campus Colony.
At least that makes sense. They live in At least that makes sense. They live on a campus.
Yeah,
but
Civic
the
Republic
Civic Republic.
Just means nothing.
What does that even mean in the context of a country? All countries have, like, civic institutions. Civic stuff.
Yeah.
In fact, they might as well just call it the Republic.
They have this weird bit here where she lands and they do this bit where she's like, don't worry, my soldiers have cool futuristic weapons that you don't have to worry about how we got.
Which just kind of makes sense that they would have these, like, purpose-built bayonets.
Yeah. It is a kind of cool weapon, I'll be honest. It's just...
maybe they should look a bit more diesel-punky.
Yeah, they need to look...
Than RoboCop 2014.
Yeah, like, if you're in an apocalypse that happened in 2008 or something, you cannot be telling me that there are weapons that look like they come straight out of RoboCop.
Yeah.
So we get introduced to our main character here, Iris, who is this, like, hopeful high school student, because high schools still exist.
Yeah, they don't just have an elder talking to all the kids.
Yeah, or like...
They somehow still have our contemporary division of labor. It isn't like everyone's slaving in the field because there's no petrol to make modern agriculture possible or anything.
Yeah, it's... No, that's... they're just high school student. It's high school student and aspiring scientist, according to the wiki.
What is a scientist supposed to do?
Yeah, there's a part where she mentions her sister is the one who stowed away because I guess she just wasn't invited. Why is she stowing away? She stows away to pay. She pays respects to her mom's grave. That way, you get some character building there.
Also, we get a shot of a bunch of multiple helicopters.
Yeah, so
these are like helicopters with like cargo boxes underneath them.
And no one thinks to ask questions about why there's more than one helicopter. Like, no one's like, what are you guys doing with those other helicopters near us? Even though you live 1,000 miles away.
Are these guys supposed to be like some military warlord?
Yeah.
At least that might make a little bit of sense, but that's a lot of helicopters for the apocalypse.
Yeah, I don't know, man. This show, I think because it's being targeted towards like a young adult demographic, they just make everything as stupid and simple as possible.
They just assume young people don't have an imagination.
Yeah, they assume that young people can't like figure out nuance.
Yeah,
so everybody just has to.
Children, famously uncreative.
Yeah. They just have to explain point blank each other's motivations to one another. Yeah.
That explains the monologues.
There are so much of this show is characters sitting next to one another and monologuing about why they are the way they are.
That character X just sits down. It's like, whatever.
There's literally a scene where our main character Iris goes and talks to a psychiatrist.
Oh, yeah, this show does that lady dirty as well.
Yeah. And the psychiatrist is literally just like, all right, I need you to open up about yourself. Like, what?
I mean, that is what a psychiatrist does. Well, it's not a psychiatrist since she isn't giving out medication.
I guess that's true, yeah.
Owned!
So, we get introduced to some other characters who are like there's two other characters that make up this central quartet of scrappy teens.
Oh yeah, there's Big Boy.
Big Boy, who is Silas.
Who also sounds like Michael Cera, despite his enormous size.
Yeah. And then they've got their very own Sheldon. His name is Elton, but I'm going to call him Sheldon going forward.
Yes. Sheldon John.
Yeah. Yeah, Sheldon John is here, and he, there's nothing much about him. He's just an analytical kid who's just like, yeah, I want to go out to the zombie world because I'm a big dumb idiot.
Oh, I'm obsessed with the impermanence of all things. This guy gets asked in class what he wants to be when he grows up, and it's once talks about how he wants to see the world before everyone dies.
Which I guess is probably the closest thing to an actual, like, if you
person
grew up
to live through the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, these people should all be mentally ill. This should be like Evangelion. Everyone should just be barely functional.
Yeah, except that, like, all
even
these
the kids too young to
just,
remember it.
Yeah.
Could have inherited trauma.
Like, especially two sisters who went through a very horrific ordeal from the get-go.
Yes.
Which we get flashbacks to constantly. Essentially what happened was... God, these flashbacks are so stupid. First off, the flashbacks look like they were filmed on a soundstage in one day.
Yes.
Especially the part where... So, okay, Iris refers to it once as the day the sky fell, which is because an airplane fell in the area they were in. And I guess her mom and her sister were in the area that it landed in, but they were okay.
Hold on, how did that plane crash? Because Walking Dead takes place after 9/11, so the cockpit would be sealed off for many zombies.
I think there was something... Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. Maybe the one of the pilots became one?
So they had like a heart attack or something, or came into work with a bite?
I don't know. Maybe a co-pilot?
Maybe they let the stewardess in?
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's against the rules.
Well, hey, that's what happens when you break the rules, zombie outbreaks. It's in this
part
where
plane
they're
crashes.
The plane crashes, and they're somehow inside the plane when it crashes, and it's like, I don't know. It's weird because it's also the coolest scene in the show, but it also looks so poorly done.
It makes no sense, but it's cool, kind of. There's
it's
like
only
a zombie
cool.
That's tied up in wires that you don't have any idea how that happened, but
like how it could have possibly happened, how it could have happened, and how the zombie could still be alive. But you see it and you're like, yeah, that's kind of cool, I guess. And then you have to think about it a little bit and you're like, oh, not as cool. Because it also doesn't make sense how they're inside the airplane like this without suffering any damage.
Oh yeah, they could all be like horribly grotesque, give us some cool special effects. Have a severed head rolling around trying to bite people.
That'd be cool. So basically the crux of what happened that day, this is so fucking ridiculous.
What the fuck were they thinking with this?
So, we're skipping all over the place, but that's because most of the show is a lot of people just talking to one another about their character.
This flashback is told in parts over the course of the episode, but we're going to go through it all at once.
So, Hope is with her mom after they escape this zombie cockpit scenario that they're in. And they're gonna commandeer this truck, and this lady shows up with a gun, and she's like, I'm taking this truck, it's my truck. And I guess she's like so ready to unload that a momentary jump from a little child causes her to shoot the mom, and then she dies. And I think the best part about this flashback is that they couldn't even find a child actor who could convincingly say, "Mom, no." It's just a girl. First off, she does it instantly. The mom gets shot and falls over, and she's like, "Mom, no, Mom." And secondly, it's the most unconvincing. They're like, "All right, kid, we got 2 minutes, go."
Yeah, she should have screamed like the guy in Atomic Train.
Like Rob Lowe.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that the greatest television scream of all time?
Yes, and it also has the worst television scream of all time when that kid screams at him from the helicopter. Oh, yeah.
I feel like that should be the new Wilhelm scream, is Rob Lowe's scream in Atomic Train.
Yeah, but how often are you going to need a stock footage of someone grieving?
I guess that's true. I feel like anything would be improved, though. This scene would definitely be improved by someone just going,
Anyway, so the girl picks up this 4-year-old girl picks up the handgun the crazy lady drops and points it at her. And it's ambiguous whether or not she shoots her, but the lady does get shot and falls to the ground dead.
So?
Or maybe it's just badly shot. Maybe it's not supposed to be ambiguous. What do you think?
I wasn't sure either.
I don't think a 4-year-old could murder someone.
I don't think a 4-year-old could point a gun the way that 4-year-old was pointing it and hit the lady at all. She would hit the car. Yeah. Because she wasn't pointing up. She was pointing straight ahead. I don't know what happened in that scene. The editing was so weird.
Also, I gotta criticize the mom for not just letting the gun lady take the truck and trying to haggle with her instead.
Yeah, that's real dumb. The truck. we could all share it. Let's share a truck. Hey, crazy lady I just met pointing a gun at me. Let's share a truck.
I hope she didn't have a MyBookie account.
Because she lost on that bet.
Yeah, she made a bad play.
Yeah, she's not going to the Super Contest on that one.
She's not going to the Survivor one either.
So, yeah, and like, Hope is like, when Hope is done like telling that part of the story, she's like, I'm so glad you just weren't there to see it. It was just so horrible.
Which is probably true.
I mean, yeah, fair enough. So yeah, we get introduced to some other characters. There's, caretaker of Iris and Hope. His name's Felix.
The cat.
Yeah. And he's like a nothing of a character. He's just there to be like,
I don't even remember.
Guy.
I don't even remember him.
He's the guy who locks up Hope after she... So there's this whole thing where to show that she's rebellious, she distills a ton of alcohol. Just like a lifetime supply of alcohol is what it's described as. And apparently she gets punished for it?
Apparently this is illegal instead of like mandatory.
Yeah. If I found out that someone was able to distill alcohol in my like apocalypse zone, that person would be promoted to like...
Yeah, you're a new Mr. Monopoly.
Yeah. Like, we can't fucking be having you say, oh, no, it's illegal because you're underage. Underage doesn't mean anything anymore.
What, is this like some weird Mormon theocracy?
Yeah.
Which might be possible since it is Nebraska.
So he confiscates all of the booze and then I guess gives some of it to the Civic Republic people who are there. Which, like, alright, already a low move. And
like,
yeah.
Do they have neighbors?
I don't know.
Because I mentioned Portland, which is 500 miles away. Yes. And I mentioned the Civic Republic, which is
1,000 miles away.
1,000 miles away.
So no, I guess not. So also they mentioned that their dad is in the Civic Republic and he's working on a cure. Why? It's 10 years. Why do you need a cure at this point? It comes back to the part...
It is kind of a problem that dead people come up and eat you still.
I guess, but like they seem to have it mostly solved.
Yeah.
In the sense that like they even design these doors where like if someone dies, they can't really get out of the door, their rooms.
I could have sworn that Land of the Dead had that.
It might have. I thought it was a cool idea, so it would make sense that Walking Dead did not originate it.
Yeah, we get to see these doors in action with the psychiatrist character who's like on had some form of COPD.
Yeah, and she dies just so we can give some like real gravitas to Iris's decision to leave this community later.
But we see her as a zombie, which kind of ruins it.
Yeah,
what would have made more sense is to have a funeral scene than to see her get impaled.
Yeah,
by the tridents.
So you need I guess you want to work on a cure, sure. But at this point, it comes back to my big problem with this show in general, which is that 10 years from now, you shouldn't be encountering zombies that much at all.
And also 10 years. I don't think a cure is feasible 10 years after the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Like I said, you probably don't have the technology.
Also, they really have to be like, I don't know if there's any in Nebraska, but at this point, the parts of the United States have to be completely unlivable due to nuclear plants and stuff. Like, how long would it take for one of those to just wear down? Like 3 years at most?
Oh, well, most nuclear power plants in America are designed to be fail-safe. If they fail, they turn off.
Do you think they would if an apocalypse happened? Because presumably,
I think most of them were built before neoliberal rot set in. We haven't built a nuclear power plant in this country since like the 70s, and back then regulations were more strictly upheld.
I guess that's true. Yeah,
it would be more of a problem in the Eastern Bloc because there are still a couple of RBMK reactors out there.
That's what I need to see. I need to see Chernobyl, but zombie apocalypse edition.
I mean, some of those people did look like zombies in Chernobyl.
Yeah. I just need to see, like, the Russian version of The Walking Dead, where it's, like, almost all of Russia is unlivable.
And there's just this village in Siberia that has no idea anything happened.
Yeah.
All they know is that their radio stopped. And they assume it's just a problem on their end.
Yeah. But for most of the runtime of this show, we just get a lot of characters talking back and forth, being like, hey, what's up? Hey, what's going on?
Even Felix has a monologue with Karate Lady.
So that's the funny thing. So we get introduced to this like Marine lady. I think she says she was. She's a security officer. Her name's Huck, and when she says that her name is Huck, she says, "Don't ask." So I guess we just never get to find out why she's called Huck.
Maybe she vomited one time in a very funny manner.
Oh, I was gonna say it's because she says the N-word.
Okay. That's correct. That's correct.
But Huck is very strange to me because in some scenes she seems like she's not doing an accent, and in some scenes she seems like she's doing like
a Bayou.
Yeah, like a Bayou, or like sometimes it's like a Bayou accent, and then sometimes it just sounds like a Boston accent.
So it's sort of like Tom Hardy, a Tom Hardy type situation where it's voices.
Yeah. Yeah, because like in the scene where her, closest thing to like a pivotal scene between her and Felix in this episode, where she's pretty much just like, "Hey Felix, what's your deal?"
And Felix is just like, "I'm gay."
Yeah.
And sad.
I'm gay and sad. She's like, "Oh, you can't beat yourself up about your family being mad because you're gay, even though it's the zombie apocalypse. So who could possibly give a shit?"
And my family's probably dead too.
Yeah.
I probably got 3 separate kinds of PTSD.
I do like that they immediately had him say, like, "Yeah, I'm gay, don't worry, this isn't going to be a relationship thing between the two of us."
Also, my boyfriend's with Hope's dad.
Yeah.
Maybe being gay? Maybe having a gay affair with him? We'll see.
Do you think that's what he's worried about?
Yes.
I actually missed the part where he said his boyfriend was with Hope's dad.
Yeah, he's in charge of security.
Yeah, sure, why not? But yeah, during that scene, Huck is like, "Hey, Felix, what's your deal?"
And what is his deal, Swanson?
He's gay.
That's it.
He's gay.
Was that all? That was it.
He mentions that he's like he's been charged by Iris and Hope's dad to like look after them.
Oh.
Other than that, nothing important, I don't think. As for the show itself, there's a pretty baffling scene in general. So, Hope mentions numerous times that she doesn't trust the Civic Republic, which, yeah, of course. Why would you trust these people? There's no reason to work with these people.
Well, the ambassador they sent is a British woman, which is very strange for a supposedly American.
Yeah. And no one seems to question it, really. They're just
Also, her bodyguards do wear black helmets that hide their faces.
Yeah.
And they all look the same. And they never utter a word.
So this British lady, in the dark one time, comes to meet with the two daughters and is like, "I know you don't trust me, and here I'm going to prove that you can trust me by giving you something that means nothing.
Here's a useless riddle map.
Yeah."
Also, if anyone finds out that I gave you this, I will be shot.
And I could probably just say that.
Penalty. I take no pleasure in reporting this.
And I could probably just say that and wouldn't really mean anything, but here you go. She also gives a truly great non-answer because they say, like, "How do we know we can, like, how can we trust you at all?" And she's like, bravery is a thing that we really need in this world. She's giving, like, a Mike Pence answer to...
She kind of does look like a lady Mike Pence.
Yeah. Is she Mother?
Oh, we found Mother.
Mother, I'm going to need you to take care of the campus colony. Yeah,
I wish it would have been funny if the campus colony got drone striked.
I mean, it would have. Yeah, I would have laughed if instead of like the weird scene at the end, it was just a huge drone strike and was on fire and stuff.
Yeah, and like some Black Hawk Down type shit happens when the helicopters fly in.
Yeah,
just ripple down and gun people.
Oh, I forgot to mention this in the scene where Hope gets arrested for selling alcohol. Or not even selling, just making it. Felix says a line that it's one of 2 lines I have written down from the sorry, 3 lines I have written down from the show. Which is, he says, it's one of the clunkiest. Why do you do what you do when you have what you have?
What does she have? I mean, she has...
like, she has a good reason for being rebellious, I think. In the grand scheme of things, like, she has almost nothing.
Well, she has electricity and potable water in the post-apocalypse.
Yeah,
so really she should consider herself a queen.
Yeah.
How do they supply electricity to the town anyways?
Yeah, the generators probably, or some easy write-off that no one has to think about.
If it's generators, where are they getting the fuel? Because this is 10 years after the apocalypse. All the oil's probably gone bad.
Hey, don't worry about it. Because the writers sure didn't worry about it.
What was she planning on exchanging the alcohol for? Was she just making that pro bono, or?
No, she wanted it for her party, something? I guess, and she made a lifetime supply of it. So there's a bit here where they have this big like Monument Day speech, and Iris is about to give it, and then she's just like, you know what? I actually don't trust you. And the weirdest part is that no one does anything about her just like fucking up the speech. No one's like, all right, hey, why don't you calm down? They just all sit there and watch as she's just like, why should we trust you? And the British lady doesn't offer any condolences or anything. She's just like, you'll trust us eventually. Which means nothing. It's not a great way to make people trust you.
Everyone in this town should be paranoid as fuck. Just from their lived experiences.
You're telling me in 10 years you've never encountered distrustful people?
Like, the entire point of a zombie apocalypse is you're betrayed by your loved ones and have to kill them.
Like if you mean to tell me that The Walking Dead was full of like villains who were just like Negan and people like that, and these people never encountered a single one like that? So there's this bit here where after the speech goes bad, Hope is like, well, how about we just go to New York? And Iris is like,
Nebraska.
All right. Yeah, from Nebraska. And Iris is like, all right, I guess we'll have to walk from Nebraska. There's no way we'll die horribly doing this. Yeah. They don't even seem to have camping equipment with them.
Where are they going to sleep?
Yeah. When they leave, we get to night and they're like walking through like a street, like a highway. And then it's morning and they're just sort of sitting around.
Yeah, because, realistically speaking, all these buildings, these unattended buildings should have like massive weather damage. There should be holes in the roof.
There should be holes in the roof. There's probably like a rotten head of a zombie in there or something. Yeah,
grocery stores are just this giant mushroom colony now.
Yeah,
abandoned food rotting.
It's been 10 years.
Yes.
So there's this bit before they leave where second line of the night. This is Hope, and then this is Hope saying, "We could die," and then Iris says, "We could live." Thanks for pointing out the 2, I guess, most likely scenarios.
Well, one likely scenario.
Yeah. It's such a, it makes it's not a good argument at all. Well, we could die. Well, yeah, but we could live too. Yeah, but we can just live here.
Yeah, but we'll probably die.
Yeah. I guess it's a good thing they leave because they would have died. So they get these two kids who they seem to not really have any interaction with previously.
Yeah, Big Boy.
Yeah, Big Boy and Sheldon coming to CBS this fall. And when they ask Sheldon if he wants to join, he gives this whole speech about the impermanence of life, and then he says, "Plus, I know karate." I want to see him do karate on a zombie and then just get eaten alive.
I was really hoping that would happen. I was really hoping for the shock death at the end of this episode.
Instead, what we get is they like leave the colony and then they get like a video game shot where they're just like all looking out over like the apocalypse zone.
Yeah, and the words "defeat Ganon" appear at the top of the screen.
Yeah. Also, the big like silent kid has a wrench.
That's cool.
Why didn't he just take one of the other weapons? They have all of these weapons that are like designed to kill zombies, and he takes a wrench.
So these kids aren't carrying guns either.
No, they're carrying like sticks and stuff, I guess. Which I guess is good, because if you don't know how to use a gun, or if you're worried about drawing like attention by using a gun.
I just feel like in this society, everyone would be armed at a young age.
Yeah, although zombies can apparently hear still, and they're like the gunshots, I guess, attract them. So maybe that's why they didn't want to do that.
In The Walking Dead, there's a problem with like zombies just moving in straight lines towards sounds and attracting more zombies.
Yeah,
got these snowball effects, right?
Which again shouldn't be a problem 10 years later when presumably most of those zombies have been dealt with,
or can't walk.
Yeah, or can't walk because of years of winter and spring and fall seasons.
Yes, all the seasons.
So then we get this fucking awful ending. So it cuts back to the colony, and the colony's just like destroyed. Like, it's not really destroyed so much as it's just been raided.
I think it's destroyed.
It doesn't make sense to destroy this though, because they have like resources that you might want.
Like humans, which seem like it would be in very short supply.
One humans, which are like even it's funny.
The source of all labor.
Even Negan in The Walking Dead mentioned that humans are a very good source of resource. So even Negan seemed to have more of regard for human life than these people. Like they kill.
Also, we don't know why
people.
They killed everyone.
No. They just kill all these people and then cut to British lady, and she's like, "All right, good. Where is she?" And they're like, "Well, we don't know where she is." And it's like, "All right, find her."
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the ending. Like, I don't know. It's such a dumb.
No, I hate to say it, but
yeah,
I feel like we could compare this to the original Gundam, and just see how that did all these elements better. Because, you also have their hometown being destroyed at the end of the second episode of Gundam.
True.
But you know why they did it. You know what the bad guys' motives are, at least. You might not know what Charad's endgame is, but you know what Zeon's fighting for.
I think the worst
part
what
about
Zeon
this is. Ending, and also Zeon has a cool name.
That's true, yeah, not the Civic Republic. The worst part about this ending is that they couldn't...
Space Kingdom.
They couldn't wait. They spent this entire episode establishing this colony just so it could get destroyed at the end of this first episode. Why not just have it get taken over?
Yeah, now these kids really have no context to their existence. They're just isolated, atomized. Oh, except Felix and Lady are chasing after them.
Yeah. I mentioned earlier that Fear the Walking Dead got rid of their premise 4 episodes in. It looks like this one got rid of it 1 episode in.
I thought the premise was the road trip, and so it's just getting started.
I guess it's true. They're still teenagers, so that premise is still basically there. But, like, now they're just out in the wilderness with no civilization. I don't know. It's very dumb. This show is a walking problem.
Yeah, I guess we are just back to regular Walking Dead now that their colony's been destroyed.
Yeah. It's so lazy. The show is lazy to the nth degree because almost every dialogue is an excuse for someone to monologue about their backstory.
Yes. Unlike Gundam, no monologues in those first 2 episodes.
Yeah. I'm giving this a tune out. It's no good.
No.
I think it might be the worst thing I've watched all year.
Tune out. If you want to watch teens in the apocalypse, watch Gundam. Watch First Gundam.
Yeah.
The production values on that are better as well.
So that's a tune out on Walking Dead: The World Beyond. And that'll about do it for this week's episode of the show. If you liked what you heard and you think, what if they did anime? Specifically anime about swords. Well, you get like the 1000-Year Bleach Cast, our bonus podcast that comes out usually every Thursday, where we talk about the anime series Bleach. We got a couple more episodes of that before we're going on a sort of sabbatical at the end of the Soul Society arc.
So we don't have to reckon with the series' interminable decline.
Yes.
But we're right at the good part.
That's right.
So look forward to that.
Stuff's banging and clanging. That's what swords do. And if you like,
and maybe
this,
the swords will catch
around.
on fire at some point.
Oh, I'd be into that.
Maybe.
And hey, if you like what you're listening to here, why not stick around next week? We'll be back with more TV goodness. Until then, keep watching. Bye. It's over.
I found him. Hey folks, it's the TV Tuners Fact of the Week. Did you know that Stairmaster could bend his thumb backwards more than 90 degrees?
Ouch.